dating profile mistakes. So really the first question I have, what are the biggest mistakes that especially people over 50 are making, and why do they keep repeating them? Thank you so much for joining us again on Second Act TV. So happy to welcome back Laurie Gerber, dating coach, relationship expert, and important for our conversation today, a former love resident love expert. That's it, resident love expert at some of the biggest dating sites that are out there now. Laurie, thank you so much for being here again.
Great to be here. I love this topic.
Well, and it's an evergreen topic as this evolves, and that is dating profile mistakes. And the reason that we do this today is because people don't know. People have questions. I get questions on this all the time. So really the first question I have, what are the biggest mistakes that especially people over 50 are making, and why do they keep repeating them?
Well, I think the main reason people repeat the mistake of putting up a, let's call it, less than fabulous profile is laziness. I actually think people don't realize how important it is. And I think people are offended by how important it is, actually. You know, we know ourselves. We know how great we are. We have lots of friends. We have successes in life. Why can't someone just get to know us, meet us, and see that? Why do I have to put up an ad? Why do I have to work on crafting the language and the pictures of this ad? And I think people are naive about how important it is. And I think people are offended by the whole process of it all. So the mistake is not to put effort into the profile. Now, I think the second big mistake that people make in writing their profiles is an attempt to somehow manipulate. So that could be straightforward lying about your age, right? Or lying about your height, or lying about some aspect of your life. But there are other subtler ways that people manipulate, like pretending to be into something that you're not. Representing yourself, let's say, as a sports fan when you're not, or representing yourself as down to earth when you're not. So any form of misrepresentation is a mistake, because though it may give you the short-term gain of getting some kind of attention you think you want, in the long term, it blows up in your face.
You've mentioned here bad pictures. That's a huge mistake. So how important are the profile pictures, and what pictures could be instant deal breakers?
And nobody respects this enough. I mean, the most successful, beautiful, intelligent, hardworking people refuse to do the work it takes to get good pictures on their profile. And not just get good pictures on your profile, but if you're serious about finding your person, change up the pictures. The algorithm likes that. And people care about pictures. You could actually put up new pictures and be reshown to the same person, and now they like you. How about that? Changing your pictures and keeping your pictures updated is so beneficial you don't even understand. Now, here are deal breakers. You cannot have other people in your pictures. And again, people want to negotiate with me. But it's my brother, but it's my kid, but it's even your dog. If your dog is cuter than you, don't put them in the picture. And of course your dog's cuter than you. So nobody else in your picture. That's a deal breaker, because that confuses people. People are moving rapidly. They're looking at a glance. Maybe they don't even have their glasses on. You cannot confuse people. You need to have just you in the picture. I say the same thing about any picture that misrepresents you, either sexier than you are, in whatever way it misrepresents you. That's a deal breaker. To me, that's a deal breaker. And you don't want sunglasses on. You want people to see your eyes, bright light on you. You need a full body shot and shots from here up. You need shots of you doing things you like, and not shots of you doing things that you don't like. I know that's obvious, but unbelievably people don't. Also, oh my gosh, no selfies, people. You're never getting a good angle with a selfie. Or if you are, it just looks silly. Have other people take pictures of you in good lighting, in great outfits, doing things that you love, and get your friends used to it. They need to know you're dating. So get your friends used to your friends and family used to taking pictures of you all the time. Lighting matters. I send pictures back all the time for crappy lighting. It drives me insane. Lighting is everything. Do you see the light that's on my face right now? This is the kind of light you want. Google it, golden hour. You want golden hour light on your face. You're never going to look better. And men, we don't want to see fish in the picture. I mean, I thought it was a joke, but then I saw it so many times.
This comes up it doesn't matter who I talk with. It's the fish pics that are pointed out as the biggest mistake.
The fish pics and the selfies in the bathroom. The bathroom selfies. And they have to be current. Now, when I say current, I don't mean it doesn't have to be yesterday. It could be even be a few years old if you still look like that. Okay. You cannot put up a picture where when they see you in real life, they're gonna go,
Mhm.
what? That's the parameter.
Right. It is amazing how people don't realize that unless they just don't put the effort in and don't really care, maybe. I mean, just recently I have some friends here that are online dating and they're in their 60s, some even early 70s. And they were showing me pictures, and we went through one of the sites, and I haven't done that in a while. I'm not a coach. I don't do this for a living. And I couldn't believe how bad some of the pictures are. I mean, you have to work hard, put effort into looking that bad. And so when people think that online dating doesn't work, I can see why. And it's not because online dating doesn't work. One question I have before we move on to the next one here, Laurie, is your thoughts on professional
Mhm.
pictures. Because I
Yeah.
have I have a very strong opinion on that.
I don't have a strong opinion. I think it's obvious a professional picture is obvious, and therefore it's a little off-putting, it's a little clinical. And if you are very professional and very clinical, then okay. But I would prefer you have professional-ish, like business casual. I'd prefer a friend get good at catching your angles and your light. Your ad is for an intimate romantic relationship, so the feel should be intimate romantic, not sexy, intimate romantic.
To me, when I saw an obvious, that's a good way to describe a professional picture, to me it was fake. I wasn't interested, just out of the box. I wasn't interested. And I don't know if, again, if I'm in the minority or not, but what you said, the ish, the lighting, that's the most important part, is the lighting. So if you get that down, you don't need to worry about professional.
And while we're at appearing fake, it has only been in the past year that I've encountered people sending me their dating profiles written by AI. And I would like to say, please do not do that.
Mhm.
First of all, it's boring AF. Second of all, that's not you,
Mhm.
actually. And that's the one advantage of you being an actual human, is that you're an actual human. So please do not ruin that advantage by appearing as a robot or appearing as someone who is artificially intelligent and writing your profile with
Mhm.
AI. I'm sorry. This is just a time you're going to have to express your innermost, your personal innermost truth.
All right, another one here, Lori, that you say is, people just write boring profiles. Maybe
Right.
that's why they're using AI, because that can help, but it has to be real.
Unfortunately, AI does not help with the boring factor. In fact, as soon as you realize you're reading AI, don't know about you, but I can't even pay attention anymore. Like I glaze over. And people glaze over with dating profiles anyway. If you want someone to actually read your dating profile, you have to put the interesting stuff at the very beginning. And you have to say something interesting. You can't say, I like long walks on the beach. I like cuddling in front of a movie. I like wine. I like it's just like, cool. Let's assume all that. And now say something interesting, say something different, say something they have. And you can read profiles so you know what everyone's saying. Don't say what everyone's saying. And quite importantly, leave a hook. Ask me about the silliest thing my dog did. Ask me about my most embarrassing moment. Ask me about my recent trip to Antarctica. Um, ask me all the different colors I've ever dyed my hair. Whatever. Like ask me fill in the blank. Because it is hard to date when there are massive amounts of choices. And
Mhm.
if all of a sudden you see someone you think is cute and you have some way to start a conversation with them that's easy, that's not going to just be hi, because they've said, ask me about, boom, now you have your opening line. You've just made it so much easier. You've lowered the barrier of entry for that person.
What a great, I actually never heard that. What a great suggestion. Absolutely. You've just lowered yeah, great suggestion. Here's another good question, Lori, that you point out. What should never be in your dating profile if you're expecting to attract some quality matches? What do you not put in there?
Right. Well, remember everything I said about pictures and misrepresentations of yourself and lies. But the other real turnoff for people that I hear all the time is negativity. And people are negative sometimes about an entire gender in their profile, which is basically like saying, putting up a billboard going, I'm a negative person. or negative about your past or your exes, or very clearly stating or demonstrating your baggage. Don't put that in your dating profile. I understand it's a part of who you are, and you will eventually get to talk about what you learned from your past relationships, and do not put that in your profile. That is a huge turnoff to most people.
Well, and that leads you to the next logical question, that is listing what you don't want a red flag. That occurs more is or is occurring more and more as I understand it.
I think that's right. And I mean, I understand we're tired, we're frustrated, we want to weed people out, and we think saying what we don't want will weed them out quicker, but it doesn't, right? You actually have to weed people out by saying what you do want. And then when you're texting, you can ask some of those questions. And then when you have a video chat, you can ask some of those deal breaker questions to weed out people that you don't want. But that's for texting or video chatting. That's not for your profile where you're just trying to fill the top of your funnel. What offends women is feeling judged, right? So we don't want to feel judged. So if you're a man, keep the judgment out of your profile if you're looking for a woman. And if you're a woman, men don't want drama. So if you're a woman looking for a man, don't put any drama in your profile. There are very subtle ways that we say a thing
Mm-hmm.
that can feel a way to the other person unless it's backed up with context and personality and rapport and chemistry. Like I can say something to you once I get to know you that I could not say to you if I'm first meeting you, right? So you don't put your baggage, don't put your deal breakers, don't put your negativity, don't put your fears in the profile. I'm not saying don't bring them up because I'm very keen on you bringing them up, just not in the very beginning and not in a negative way.
Here's, people talk about people, they just lie in their profile. What are some of the common lies? What are the most common lies maybe that men and women do that we either look for and avoid doing?
Well, everyone lies about age and weight, body type. Either they lie through their picture or, through some statement about their physicality. But men are much more likely to lie about height and career, and women are much more likely to lie about age and body type because these are the things we're enculturated to think we're being judged for
Mm-hmm.
and probably are being judged for. So, but I'm always astounded by the percentage of people who lie in their profiles. So I'm no longer offended by it. I recommend you don't be offended by it because it's just what's happening. If you lied on your profile, make sure you tell the truth in your first video chat with someone so they have a right to have an opinion about whatever you lied about. If they do the same for you, that's fine. That's respectful. That's forgivable. If they never clean up the lie, if they come to the date 6 feet shorter or 10 years older, that's a little less forgivable. Or if they lie about something major, like where they live or their divorce status, and that doesn't come out till later, to me, that's more indicative of somebody who actually is manipulative and lying, and that's a real red flag.
And just in case if, people who are just now starting in this whole age thing, when you said everybody lies about age, the reason, in my opinion or understanding, is for the algorithm that
Sure.
you have to indicate how old you are, and then it slots you.
Right.
And some men think they don't want a woman our age, and when they might be very happy with that. I mean, it's a game. It's a game that the algorithm has encouraged.
Exactly. And that's what everyone who lies in their profile says. I'm trying to trick the algorithm. I'm not trying to trick you,
Mm-hmm.
right? I just wanted to get to meet you and now I'm telling you the truth. And I can't really argue with that. If the algorithm is going to be what it is, I understand that people are trying to work around it. Again, so long as in the texting or the preferably the video chatting, very latest first date, the truth comes out and your response is respected, then I think you can proceed.
Can get past that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Laurie, finally, and this is a great question. How do you balance being fun and flirty without sounding like you're trying too hard?
I don't think any men complain that women are trying too hard. I think a lot of men wish women would try a little harder and be fun and flirty. The only thing I would worry about is, and I think this is actually very common, I've seen this many times, is I'll look at a woman's profile and she'll complain that she gets too many innuendos, too many come-ons, too many just sex inclined. And there's a lot of cleavage and there's a lot of sexy poses and there's a lot of skin showing. And I think a woman has a right to look however she wants and however she feels sexy. But if you want less of that kind of feedback, cover more skin, cover your cleavage, and, just look like the girl next door in those pictures. Just like branding anything, just like branding your business or branding anything, you just want to understand what your brand is conveying and what it looks like you're looking for. And if you really don't know and you're not sure, because maybe, who knows, you can ask some people. Right? You can ask friends and family or ask them to ask people maybe who don't know you to go, what are the three adjectives you would say to describe this person if you just saw them for the first time? And that will be amazing feedback for you to see what you're conveying. And so if you want to convey, fresh, exciting, and fun, do you want to convey sexy, sultry, and sensual? Do you want to convey serious, modest and professional? What do you want to convey?
I think one thing that really always turned me off is shirtless pictures for men. Women do some of the sexy poses. I think are absolutely ridiculous, but the shirtless pictures, I don't care how good your chest and arms are. It's like immediately that would not be a consideration. Again, I don't know if I'm in the minority.
Right. Well, in my opinion, if you're using my 3H method for dating and you want to find a long-term healthy relationship, you don't want to have the person thinking about you in the bedroom yet, right? You don't want to have them thinking about you unclothed yet. So don't put that in their mind. Don't reveal a lot of skin if that's not what you're looking for. Now, those men who are revealing a lot of skin may want to end up in a bedroom, and that may be what they attract. If that is what you want, show more skin. If that is not what you want, show less skin, and know that the more skin you show, the more you're turning off someone who's looking for something serious and turning on someone who isn't.
Well, again, we can, this can go on and on and on and on and on because there are a lot of mistakes that people make. People will continue to make it. People are, every day there's new people coming online. Is there something that I didn't ask that you think we need to point out?
Well, I just want to underline there are people who are good at this. If you are not good at this, if you're saying, well, I wish I could be online and get introduced to thousands and thousands of potential love mates, but I don't know how to take a good picture. I don't know how to get a good picture. I don't know how to write my profile. I don't even know if I'm ready to date. Use my resources. Come to my website, take the free webinar, get help. And if you can't afford more professional help, get a focus group, get some friends together. This is not something that you need to do alone. And other people's perspectives, even if they're not a professional at this, will help because they're just showing you how, they're just reflecting back to you how you're showing up. And you need to be able to see that.
As you also said in the beginning, people don't put effort into it. You have to decide how important a relationship is to you, because you put a lot of effort into finding a job. And that's kind of how this is. This is a person you hopefully spend the rest of your life with or a significant amount of time with. And it deserves some effort in order to find who it is that you want. So if you would like to contact Laurie directly, I have her contact information in the show notes. And yeah, check out all the free stuff she has there. She's a lot of fun. You'll enjoy perusing the site. And I look forward, Laurie, to seeing you again soon on Second Act TV.